Hello everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to another live stream. It has been a while. How's it going everybody? Hello Fred, Brian, Drift King, everybody in the chat. Hope you are having a fantastic day. Yeah, so welcome back for a live stream. We are gonna check out the latest update of RaceRoom, which was a big update, came out yesterday. It contains a lot of new things, new cars, new tracks, new features, and some very exciting stuff for sure. So I hope you are as excited as I am. Hello Cruz, Homie, SK SWAT, the almost night update, that's right, yeah. Yeah, we'll get into all these things. I think we'll just start off by just driving around a bit on the Nordschleife, and then we'll also check out the new track, Ningbo, and of course the new cars, the Porsches GT3, GT2, GT4, and the BMW M4. And we'll see where it takes us. You had so much fun last night, 2 hours. Fantastic, that's great to hear. Hope you guys enjoyed the update. Guys have been working really hard. Lots of physics updates, force feedback updates, and of course the daylight progression now dynamically from morning till evening. Hello Mirko. Ciao, Italia. GT2 sounds amazing. Yeah, that's an amazing car. Very unique, very exclusive. Only 200 units built worldwide. So great to have it in RaceRoom. We can destroy the car in RaceRoom and just reset the car, and nothing is lost. Yeah, damage is also one of the things that has been updated. We now have suspension damage and tire flat spots. Cool stuff, cool stuff. I can show you Ningbo for sure, yeah. I don't know the track very well myself, but we'll learn it together. I can show you how to save a setup, yeah, it should work. That is another thing that is new, the new car setup screen. It's the first glimpse of the new modernized version of the UI that will hopefully manage to finish next year. Is this YouTube chat acting up on the stream? It's not updating really, is it? It's weird. Anyway, let's have a look at the trailers and then we'll get out on the track. Here we are then on the Nordschleife. I've set up a practice session with multi-class, 100 cars on the Nordschleife. We got GT3s, GT4s, TCR cars. What else? BMW M235i, Audi TT-RS VLN. Hey Tom, good evening. Hello Jirik. Hope I pronounced that right. So, I'm driving the Porsche GT3 new car, obviously, 2019 specifications, with a bunch of very cool liveries and new physics, of course, as all the GT3 cars, and the GT4 cars have revised physics as well. Some other classes, the DTM92s finally got their physics update along with the Touring Classics, which now don't share the same performance index anymore. The Touring Classics now have been adjusted to their proper regulations, meaning they will be a little bit slower. But nonetheless, we got a new car in the Group 4 as well that goes along nicely with the Porsche in Group 4, and that is the BMW M1 Pro car, or let's not say Pro car, it's actually the Group 4 version of that car. Okay, before we go out on track, let's check out here. If we go back to garage and we go into the new car setup, you can see this looks fairly new and nice. So you got three sections on this car setup screen. On the left here you got telemetry. You will see here more when we drove a lap or two. Then we can start comparing laps and compare telemetry, which is really helpful. We got the tire info as well. Here in the middle section you can adjust all the things: general, front, rear, electronics, driveline. And on the right we have the wheel settings. This is where you adjust the wheel range, or steering angle as it's called now, the steering lock and the force feedback multiplier. And there is some help text as well that tells you how you can adjust these things. And below, of course, very helpful, some text that explains what these settings do, which was something we never had before, but this is actually super helpful when you create your own setups. And we actually got a few new settings in here as well. The dampers can now be adjusted in slow bump, slow rebound, fast rebound. That is something new. Really cool stuff. We have also changed how the traction control and ABS works. Mainly the traction control is going to be less intrusive now. And but it comes at default at 100% for most of the cars, I think. Which might not be the setting that you end up driving the cars with. It's a very safe setup, a good beginner setting. I think something along 40%, 50%, 60%. That's more the range you will have the you will have more fun with the cars. Let's put it this way. Very nice torque and power graphics here on the engine side of things. And yeah, of course GT3 cars you cannot really adjust much here in the gears, but that is as per regulations. Okay, let's get out on track. You can see one new thing also as well down here in the bottom right-ish corner, and that is the track map that now can be set up so you can see the full track instead of a section. And of course you can resize it and position it where you want it. But enough talking, let's get out and drive some. I'm gonna try and drive with the traction on step 4.
Pit exit's clear, push.
Okay, so we have a lot of traffic on the track. I hope the AI behaves well. Of course, I'm pushing it here with 100 opponents. Not the ideal conditions for AI, but let's see how they handle. And it's just so much fun to drive in traffic on the Nordschleife with all these amazing cars. Hello, Michael.
The leader has just done an 8:52.6.
So it is recommended that you load up the default settings for your wheel.
49.9.
Keep quiet.
Okay, I'll keep quiet.
Of course, because of all the force feedback changes and the physics changes as well, the old profiles were not suited anymore. So it is recommended that you just start with the default profile. You do that by just going in here into options and control settings. And there you can see controller profiles. Here's all your custom profiles that you made, but there's also the default profiles. Now I have a Thrustmaster TS-PC Racer, so if I wanted to just reset to default, I just click here and load that one up. And from there I can edit assignments and all that stuff. Quick look at my settings here. I've actually listened to Thomas and added a little bit of damper. I'm still trying that out. I'm not sure if I like it or not. But yeah. Very important is that the steering rack is at a low value at the moment. I'm using 30, but you should definitely not go above 50% on the steering rack. It's not feeling that great with the new force feed, with the new physics, and also depending what car you're driving. Yeah, let's resume. I've set up this session with a time multiplier of 25. We started in the morning, it's now about noon, and we will see the sun set over the next 15 minutes or so. That's a very nice feature to have this dynamic progression, especially for endurance races. Of course there's no night racing yet, but I mean most of the races are being held during the day anyway, so it's better than nothing, right? What happens at sunset? It stays at sunset. It just stops progressing. But the sun position is now accurate depending on which track you're driving, which also results in better lighting. You can see at noon you don't have these long shadows anymore. It's actually physically accurate now, which is amazing. Hey, where's all the traffic? Slowly catching. You can see in the track map where all the opponents are. Let's actually turn off the music and listen to the car sound. There's new tire sounds as well. Personally, I'm not a big fan of having too loud of a tire noise in the cockpit. I don't think it's realistic. It helps, of course, giving you feedback of what the car is doing, and in that sense it is helpful in a sim, but I have reduced it. Not sure actually how much I've reduced it, but yeah, it's personal preference. So you can see I'm driving traction control on step 4 and it's still perfectly drivable. I would argue it's almost less understeering, so if you can manage driving with less traction control, it will probably help a little bit with your lap time, but of course it is a little bit more risky. That's true, backfires are also updated on at least some of the new cars, like these Porsches. They do look better now for sure. Darrow, I'm using a reshade setting. the Lightroom shader in specifically. You probably know about Reshade. It's reshade.me is the website where you can download it. And if you Google for Lightroom shader, you'll be able to find it. It's actually a very extensive option. You can adjust a lot of things when it comes to color correction. Such things as exposure and saturation and color hue and color tint and temperature and all those things that you can do in Lightroom or Photoshop. You can do it in real time, which is amazing. I just use it to slightly correct the white balance a little bit and increase the exposure. You can catch slides much better. Yeah, I mean, they're just sliding less, the cars, which is more realistic. In the past they have always been a bit yeah, it was very easy to be on the edge with the cars. Now they have a little bit, I don't want to say more grip, but better balance. But if you look into the description, I have linked to the forum posts of Alex Hutchinson, who wrote a very elaborate physics blog post on the forum, going into all the details and nitty-gritty of the physics updates, as well as the changelog. I've linked that as well, and the force feedback guide that Thomas wrote. So I'm running on maximum settings, 100 cars on the Nordschleife, and I'm running on 87 frames per second right now, which is quite amazing that this is possible with a time multiplier of 25 and, as I said, 100 cars. If you have performance problems after this update, then what you can do is reduce the shadow setting from high to medium, because the shadow resolution got bumped up a little bit on the high setting. That is to deal with the dynamic time of day, of course. Still, some shadows can be a little bit funky sometimes, but for the most part they're looking alright. So let's check out the top speed here. 266, 67. Probably gonna be at 75 when I go downhill here in Tiergarten. Yes, this is AI. Let's see, maybe, if I feel like it, maybe we can do an online race at the end of the stream. Man, I really like how this car drives now. Hey John, yeah, I did watch that race. At least the first one. I don't not remember the second one, but yeah. Turn 1, the AI is always having slight problems here, especially with a lot of cars. It's not a big problem with normal size grids. And in case you're wondering about the HUD that I'm using here on the left, the score tower and all those things, that is the Otter HUD. You can download that as well on the forums. There should be a link to that in the description as well. Let's see if I can catch another GT3 car. That would be cool, so I can chase him through the traffic a little bit. GT Masters 19, not sure. We have already made a few liveries. The Porsche comes with 2019 GT Masters liveries, for example. Hey, look, that Cayman is missing a brake light. That's funny. New damage includes a couple of things. So obviously you have a improved visual damage, but the big improvement, of course, is the new features like the suspension damage. So if you hit something during a crash, your suspension geometry will deform, depending, of course, how hard and where you hit the object, and then that will result in your steering being like all crooked and stuff, and that feels really awesome. I mean, it doesn't feel awesome to have a damaged car, but it's really cool to have this simulated. No, flat spots is the other new thing. We did already have punctures, but of course a puncture and a flat spot, those are two different things. If you have a puncture, you have a big problem, because you're gonna lose tire pressure, which will eventually result in a flat tire. But a flat spot, that is basically just a spot on your tire where the tire wear is really high, because you locked the tire. And what that does, it is causing vibrations, and it also causes you to lock up even more often at that exact same spot, and that eventually can result in a puncture. Exactly, Thomas, square tires. Feels exactly like that. Now, of course, if you drive a car with ABS, you'll not very likely get a flat spot. I think it's basically impossible to flat spot a car with ABS. But if you drive cars without ABS and you lock your tires really hard, then you will feel those vibrations in your steering wheel. And yeah, as I explained, the flat spots get worse and worse over time as you keep locking on the same position, and eventually that can result in a puncture. Really cool stuff. We had to remove the old Porsche from the store when we introduced the new GT2 R due to licensing policies, because we are only allowed to release 3 new Porsches per year, and we wanted to bring you the new car, and that came at the cost of removing the old car from the store. That doesn't mean if you own the car, if you bought it in the past, you can still use it, as well as the AI still uses it, I believe. So if you had the car, then nothing is really changing for you. It's just for new customers. They will not buy the old car, they will buy the new car instead. Man, I was hoping for a little bit more traffic here on the Nordschleife, but it's spread out quite evenly already. Oh, you can see the lighting is changing. The sun is getting a bit lower now. This is like afternoon already. I just wish we had a clock in game that actually tells you the actual time. Maybe that is something that can be added in the future, maybe even through the web HUD, if that information is being shared. This car feels amazing. Nope, there's no night, but dynamic daylight progression. Oops, that was the BMW in the Armco. So the daylight or the time of day will progress dynamically from sunrise to sunset, from 6 o'clock in the morning, I believe, till 7 in the evening, and that's where it will just stop. Because night racing would have been a bigger deal to implement. That is not something we could have done in time for December, but you know, never know what the future brings. But night lighting, of course, requires also tracks being updated with, you know, night lights and all that, and that is going to be for the future, guys. But already this is such a big improvement for like 90% of the races that you're doing. I mean, let's be honest, how much of motorsport is actually happening at night? Of course, the 24-hour races, but so you can see the clouds are getting colorful now. It's about to be sunset. That position overlay is part of the Otter Hut, linked in the description. You can have it in-game. I like to use it because I'm streaming. I also like to use it because it has a ton of information on there. You can see basically all the entries of the race. You can see gaps in real time. You can see whether they have pitted or not, and all sorts of cool things that you don't have in the regular position bar. Alright, here's more traffic. Beautiful sunset at the Nordschleife. Honestly, I think the AI has improved quite a bit as well in this update. Just some corners they're going a bit slow, but overall really liking it. Yeah, that is a good point, John. I would also like for the drivers to be able to finish their lap. But yeah, on the Nordschleife that's a bit tricky, isn't it? I think there has to be a kind of a maximum time the qualifying can go on before it forces the session switch. There we are, finally another GT3 car I can have a little bit of fun with. BMW M6. Have you guys heard the news about BMW changing to the M4 for its GT3 customers in what, 2022? That sounds exciting. But of course 2022 is still 2 years away. Now we're talking. Nürburgring GT3 battle against 100 opponents. Oh, nice. He didn't even lift over that crest. That was one of the problems I had during beta, but now he just ran over the crest flat out, how it's supposed to be. You're living there. Oh man, you're so lucky. I've only visited the Nürburgring a few times. Always been great there. So this new force feedback is really awesome with regards to building up the load of the tire, you know? When you go to a really, really fast corner, you feel a lot more resistance or force, steering force, as when you're going through a slow corner. It feels really more dynamic. You can feel how much speed you're carrying. That, I believe, is due to the pneumatic trail feature that we have introduced, and that sort of simulates a contact patch and how the contact patch changes in various conditions. But Alex has explained that much better than I could ever do in the Sector 3 forums. Check the link in the description to the physics blog post. Super interesting read. Also helps understanding the cars better and why they behave as they behave. Oh my god, 3 wide. Okay, that didn't give me suspension damage, which is reasonable. You don't want, or you shouldn't get suspension damage with every little collision. It's only if you hit something really hard or quite hard that you will start getting suspension damage. I'm using almost the default settings for force feedback. I can show you once again really quick. Option control settings, force feedback. So 20% damper, that's something I'm still experimenting with, but it seems to feel quite alright. Steering force intensity 100%, minimum force 2%, understeer is much lower than it used to be. It's not really that necessary anymore. It is now more physics driven if and when and how you will feel the force feedback go light if you understeer. Then vertical 60 versus lateral 40%. That is pretty much default, I think. Steering rack 30% should be default, but definitely make sure your steering rack is at a low percentage with this new update. And then the rest, slip effects, etc., that's more or less a matter of personal preference. Graphics got better. Well, the lighting got better because of the accurate sun position. I will give you that. Of course, I'm using reshade to slightly increase the contrast and exposure and white balance, fix the white balance. I can show you, that's the original look. And with reshade it looks like this. Just a little bit of difference. Original, reshade, original, reshade. Just a little bit of a color tweak, nothing outrageous. So I think we're gonna do one more lap here because this is so much fun, and then we're gonna change it up a little bit. Driving a new car on a different track. I think we're gonna do the GT2 RS Club Sport. But is that correct? Is that the right car to drive it on Ningbo? I don't know about that. We can try. You guys want to see Ningbo, right? The YouTube corner. This is where I crashed in my last RaceRoom VLN race. It's a Stefan Belov S. Hey Evgeny, thank you. I'm just having fun today, racing against AI. Yes, practice session is 24 hours long, that's correct. That's what I like to do here on the Nordschleife. Just load up a bunch of cars in different classes. Let's see top speed comparison. I'm gonna stay out of the slipstream just to compare the top speed between the BMW and myself. Looks like I'm having a little bit of an advantage. Now of course this is AI driving. Maybe it's not the top speed, more like the acceleration. Hey Billy, what's up? Hope you're doing fine. So again, top speed close to 270 down the hill here. Yeah, 268. Also the brakes have improved massively here on the GT3 cars. You have a much better feel for the brake, and there is a little more stopping power. I'm doing great, thank you. Haven't been live in ages, but still having tons of fun here. But Christmas vacation is about to start, so probably we'll do a few more live streams coming days and weeks. So make sure to subscribe everyone if you haven't yet. Okay, what do you say, one more lap? I believe AI difficulty is at 110% by the way. Oh, and I did the 8:15 this lap with traffic. So apparently the GT3s got a little bit slower with this update. Because what changed is, among many other things, is that they have a less aerodynamic grip, but they do have a little bit more torque, if I understood Thomas correctly from the forum. Oopsie. But of course every aspect has changed in the physics. Starting with suspension, tires, aero, all those things, engine modeling. I'm in love with this Porsche again. I hope the balance of performance is good for the Porsche. No, but yeah, it better be good. Yeah, it better be. Yeah, static minimap, nice little feature. Glad that you say that, because that's something I requested. It's looking a little bit odd here with the Nordschleife, as in the track is very, very thin, the outline. But of course that's just due to the odd size of the track. It looks better on the more normal tracks. Guys, between the new cars, the new physics, the new force feedback, and the daytime progression, and the new setup options, this is quite big for RaceRoom, guys. Definitely check it out if you haven't yet. We just need some ranked multiplayer. What do you say, guys? Wouldn't that be great? Until then, of course, we have a big esports program. If you're up for the challenge, lots of new championships coming next year. GT Masters GT3 Esports Championship, prize pool of 80,000 euros. Then Esports WTCR final this weekend, guys, on Saturday morning European time. Make sure to watch it on the RaceRoom YouTube channel. It's the final of the season in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. Follow RaceRoom on Instagram to see all behind the scenes stories from the drivers and the guys on site. Glad you seem to like it, Billy. That's always good to hear. Yeah, overall the feedback has been overwhelmingly positive so far. There's still a few bugs here and there, as with every new update and with every other software out there, but we've already started working on those bug fixes, guys. You can't change the force feedback settings. That's not possible. Just go into options, controller settings, profiles. That's where you start, right? You pick the one that is made for your wheel. In my case, that is the Thrustmaster TS-PC Racer, and from there you can just go in here and change as you like. If that's not working for you, then that might be a bug, or maybe you're doing something wrong. Okay, let's check out Ningbo when we're done with this lap. A track I'm not super familiar with, but it is part of the WTCR calendar, so that is one more track towards a complete WTCR calendar in RaceRoom. And it's definitely a track that you can't drive anywhere else, as far as I'm aware, unless there is some odd mod out there. But yeah, I think RaceRoom has a good mix between tracks like the Nordschleife, that is super important to have, and other famous tracks, of course, Monza, Silverstone, all those tracks. And then you got some tracks that you can't find anywhere else, like some Swedish tracks and Chinese tracks, and makes for a nice little bit of variety. Not to say I wouldn't like to see Sebring and Daytona and some other tracks as well, but we're always working on new tracks, guys. We're already working on new tracks, so we'll see what the future brings. Christmas sale. There's definitely going to be one on Steam. I don't know about the game store yet, because the studio pretty much is leaving into Christmas vacation now. So I don't know if there's gonna be a sale or not. I doubt it at this point. But we just had a big Black Friday sale that went on for like 3 weeks. Hey, this guy's slowing down a lot. Yeah, setup menu is definitely better. Yeah, I need to share my reshade settings at some point, but I can show you real quick. Hang on a sec. I can show you on here. It's a little bit difficult to read, isn't it? Can I increase the font size? I think I can somewhere, can't I? No, I can't. Text size. No, that's FPS text size. Anyway, I've got 3 shaders active. That is the Lightroom shader, a little bit of vignette, and a clarity shader. Lightroom being the crucial one. You can see in here you can adjust a lot of things. Individual color control, hue, exposure, saturation, gamma, exposure, contrast, vibrance, tint, temperature, a lot of things. You can go to reshade.me to download Reshade, install it for RaceRoom, and make sure to Google for the Lightroom shader. It's called Quint. There's like a Quint shader pack. Definitely make sure to check that one out. All right, let's try something else. Open the console of Reshade, you mean? Well, you can bind a key for that. I think default is position 1, or is it? Yeah, I think position 1. Or is it Shift F2? It changed during one of the last updates. But when you install it, you can set it up however you like. So let's do another practice session. This time we're gonna pick the new Porsche GT2 RS. We are the first sim to have this car, guys. New Porsche customer motorsport car. We are one car short of having the complete Porsche customer racing, or the complete Porsche motorsport lineup. Actually, not one, 2 cars. But yeah, some really cool liveries in here as well. Hey, there's a render missing here. What's that? Is that because I'm in a special user group and you guys don't have access to that car? Maybe. I do like this one here. So let's go to the new track Ningbo. Comes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layouts. I think we're gonna go with the full circuit, obviously, but there's one without chicane, which no chicane is always better, right? So let's clear the opponent selection. And then we'll just add, I don't know, let's say 19 opponents. And here's the new setting, guys. So you can choose the time of day now, and instead of names, it's now actual times. Let's again start in the very morning, and then the multiplier is set to 25. That's the maximum. Damage, I have it on full. Let's enable tire wear and fuel as well. And yeah, load up a session. So notice the loading screen, guys. It's very important to load the defaults. If your force feedback feels weird, if your car feels weird, that's probably because either you have a car setup loaded that is not working with the new physics, or your custom force feedback settings don't work as well with the new update. So in either way, either case, just load the defaults and you should be good to go. Once again, let's have a look at the new car setup page. And somebody mentioned he can't save. Let's hang on. Let's go back and change something. What do we change? Ride height. Oh, we actually can't change that. Okay, let's lower the pressure a little bit. Front. So we're changing front left and front rear, but we can also change only the front right. If you right mouse click, all those things are explained here on the right side. how you can do that. And you can actually see here it tells you the difference. And there's a little red marker on the setting that tells you where the default was, so you can easily go back to the default. Actually, one thing I'm noticing now is that you can only go in high steps by dragging with the right mouse button, but you can right click on the arrows and that will go in smaller increments. So that much for asymmetrical setup changes, which is something new as well. And now we're gonna save that as a test. Save current setup. So you click on this folder icon. That's how you manage your setups. You have a list of setups here. Hang on, did that save? Save current setup. Oh, I think I know what's confusing people, because the file name is actually not what you see here. This is the description, isn't it? Gotta say that is a bit confusing. Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming this is the file name, but it's actually the description. Regardless, you will find your way around this. You can delete from here on the right, and you can always load the default setup from here as well. Just click the load icon there on the right side. Don't know about the file name, to be honest, but yeah. Let's go out on the track and smash this beautiful exclusive car to test out the damage, guys. Let's bring up this, and maybe let's bring this over here. No, not this. This right here, so we can see how much damage we have. Is my mic muted? Now it's back on, isn't it? Yeah. Maybe I pressed the wrong hotkey. As I was saying, super powerful car, 700 horsepower. Ooh, this is interesting chicane, lots of curbs here. But be careful, you can even damage your suspension by driving over curbs in some cars. If you drive over them too hard, like an idiot. As I said, I'm not super familiar with this track. Okay guys, let's see how this new damage model works then. see if we can hit something really hard. Okay, that was a slight hit. You can see suspension is slightly damaged now. Still drivable though. But if you damage it more, you will see that your steering... God, need to learn this track. It's gonna be more and more off-center, your steering, the more you hit your suspension. Okay, that was another good chunk. I can already feel it now a little bit. You can see on the steering icon on my input meter in the bottom right how much offset steering I have on the straights. Yeah, it's only a few degrees, but it's not very comfortable to drive like this. Definitely something I would fix in a pit stop. But it's not like your race is over with that much damage. You can still continue. So let's continue some more. Ooh, that was a big hit. Yeah, you can see the steering is quite a bit offset now, and you can also feel now the car is not behaving right anymore because the geometry is messed up. You can also see some slight scratches on the windshield. Yeah, you don't want to drive like this anymore. I've got aerodynamic damage as well. So let's try and crash big time. I'll probably lose a tire though, so let's see. Let's crash on the side. Okay, that killed the engine. Yeah, I mean, that's what you would expect, right guys? That's absolutely amazing. That's how it should be. It's not how you want to drive, of course, but that's what happens if you crash. And we are back to the pits with the totaled car, but all repaired within a matter of seconds. So now I say we test the flat spots, guys. For that we're gonna have to turn the ABS off on this car because, oops, no. With ABS you're not gonna flat spot your tire. See if I can pull up the tire wear on the data display. Yes, there we are. So first big lockup right there. Barely feeling anything from this, but the more you lock, the more you will feel it. Good thing this car has ABS, because without it it's really tough not to lock the tires. So I'm feeling the first little bit of vibration in the steering wheel now. It's very subtle, but it's there. I can definitely feel it. Ooh, and another big lockup. Yeah, vibration is improving, or not improving, but increasing. Even more now. Let's go crazy. You can see the purple LEDs on the display lighting up, signalizing slip as I'm completely locking my front. And now I have a ton of vibration. You can also hear the tire. You can see the tire wear is not that bad, but that's of course the overall wear, not the specific wear on that flat spot. I feel like I'm having less grip now as well. Yeah, there's definitely some grip missing now from the tire. Let's see if we can exaggerate it even more. Don't do this at home, guys. Wow. Can you see my steering wheel? How it's vibrating? Maybe you could hear it as well. Yeah, so that is a really, really bad flat spot now. Let's see if I end up with a puncture. Of course, the only way to repair a flat spot is to pit and change the tire. Ooh, grip is gone. I'm just understeering everywhere. Oh, you can see front right puncture. You can see it on the data display. Doink. And we get aero damage and suspension damage. As expected, guys. So this works really, really nicely. Of course, you don't want to do that in a real race, but if you crash, that will have bigger consequences now. If damage is turned on to the full setting, we have 3 settings for damage. You can turn it either off, or you can have it on, what was it, low or medium, or you can have it full. Basically, the medium setting is how it used to be before, meaning no suspension damage and no tire flat spots. And if you turn it to full, you will have flat spots and suspension damage as well. Wow. Yeah. It doesn't want to turn anymore at all. Let's see if we can see it a little bit from the external view, how the car is bouncing. Whoops, sorry mate. Can't really see it from here, but yeah. So this is a major improvement and change to the sim. But let's go back into the pit lane and do some more laps here. There is actually an option now. You guys talking about chat, and also speaking about chat, I don't think the chat is showing. Now it is. That's gonna be annoying for you guys watching this on demand, not seeing the chat, but what can you do? Yeah, speaking of chat, in multiplayer I think there's an option now where you can disable chat so you don't see it. Some people find it to be distracting. How about we do a race with this car, but on a track that I know a little bit better. I should turn ABS back on. It's too easy to lock without ABS. Yeah, voting system and lobby chat, or respectively garage screen chat, is something that is on a list, and it's probably something you will see when we update the UI of the game, which has already started now with the car setup screen and will be continued next year. And that's the time where we will introduce new things to the UI, like chat and voting system, stuff like that. Alright, cool. Let's take this car to a different track and do an actual race against AI. Right. Spa, guys? Spa? So, AI difficulty 110. Sounds about right. Quali and race session, let's do 10 minutes. And rolling start. Sure, why not? Time of day, let's start at 9 o'clock and let's maybe make the race 15 minutes. There we go. Glad to hear that, JT. Also sure Alex Hutchinson and Thomas Jensen, who are the physics devs, are glad to hear that. So we are in practice session and we're gonna skip into race session. Car setup, we don't do anything here. Maybe fuel. Or did I turn fuel off? Maybe I did. Anywho, let's race. There's one car that has a missing render. I don't know if that's just me or if that's for all of you guys, but let's race. Actually, don't need that anymore. So much power in this car. Even 7 gear. But I think overall it's slower than the GT3s. If you look at lap times. With this new physics, you definitely wanna trail brake into the corner, meaning braking all the way to the apex. If you have a car that uses ABS, obviously. Maybe 110% was a bit optimistic. AI seems quick. Let's focus a little bit. Oh yeah, 110, they're fast. Maybe I should go 105. .105 is considered to be the setting where the AI drives realistic lap times, at least with these newer cars. Will there be a 2019 Audi? I don't want to promise, guys, but it's definitely a possibility. Okay, they were a bit slow through that chicane. Maybe I can catch up. Oh, I have a mandatory pit stop, as you can see in the HUD. Mandatory or pit window opens in 3 minutes. Well, the balance of performance is completely new, so I would be surprised if the Mercedes is still the fastest car. Whoa, that was sketchy. Big moment right there in the radio. Well, if you ask Thomas Jansen, he says the balance of performance is perfect now. Time will tell. Don't forget, you have the possibility to add weight to cars or drivers on your dedicated servers. So you can always come up with your own balance of performance if you're running a league or a server. Wow, pushing too hard. I think we need to lower the difficulty slightly so we can have a little bit more interesting race. Haven't driven this car a bunch yet, so oops, what am I doing? 105. Practice, we don't need that. We actually don't need qualifying either. We'll just make it so our grid position is at the end of the grid. I don't think you can rotate the minimap, no, but you can scale it and you can position it. But if you have the option unchecked to show the entire map, then of course it rotates automatically for you. Just double checking my microphone. Nah, it's all good. Must have pressed the wrong button earlier. Group 5 impossible to drive? I don't think that those cars were updated, were they? They might have been in some regard, but can't say I've tried them recently. Really like how this AI has improved over the past months. Used to be a little bit chaos here in this corner always, but now they're doing a really good job actually. Too much understeer. Need to lower the traction control. I hope they're not too fast still for me. Hey, how about that? You found a BMW in your folders. Nice catch. We'll see what happens with that one. You know that KW has a close connection to Georg Plaza, the driver of that car. So it was in his personal interest that we make this car. We already have the new version. Let's see what happens with the E36. Yes, unfortunately he died in an accident. But the guys at KW have rebuilt the car, and it actually raced at Goodwood this year as a, you know, tribute. And as you know, or may know, KW also owns RaceRoom, so that's the reason why this car exists in RaceRoom. This is a very fun car. It's a little bit more playful than the GT3, but not quite as tricky to drive as the Cup. It's somewhere in the middle. Oh, we got a yellow flag right there. So you can see the time progressing as well. It's now around noon. See how long it takes for the sun to set. Time multiplier is at 25. It should take around 20 minutes, I believe, or 15 minutes to go from morning to evening in that maximum multiplier setting. Oh, that is a very sexy livery there driving ahead of me. Sort of martini colors, stripes. I think I need to speak with Thomas so we can make a setup for this car that is slightly less understeering. But yeah, now the car setup has descriptions for each setting, which is really helpful when you make your own setups. Still using the auto HUD, yes. Hello, Sergey. See if we can go even lower. I don't want to go too low with the traction control, because then it becomes really tricky. Wow, racy AI. You can see the spotter app or radar, however you want to call it, in the center top. Really helpful if you're going too wide, 3 wide through a corner. Yeah, I mean, now with the UI updates that are coming next year, who knows, maybe there'll be a HUD update as well. But then again, we made an effort to share all this data so third-party apps can be built, and you know, just use the auto HUD. It's great. Wow. Got a little punt there from behind. But yeah, really fun racing against the AI. I see the pit window is open now. So to fulfill the mandatory pit stop requirements, I think we have to change tires. We can try and only change the front tires. Or maybe the rear tires, they should have less wear. Let's have a look at the wear. Oh, wear is off. Okay. Forgot to set that up then. But then let's change just one axis. Maybe we can gain a few places through that. So to set up the track map like I have it, you go to Options, Gameplay Setting, scroll down to the HUD settings over here, and there's this setting right here, Static HUD Track Map. I have that on, and from there you can adjust its size and position. I think for that you also need to map. What is that? Oh, you need to go into assignments and map a key for, what is it called now? So you can adjust the HUD. It's somewhere in here. Anyway, you'll find it. There is a key that you can map, so you can adjust the HUD position and size and all those things. Let's see, is the AI pitting? Some are, yes. Oops. Don't drink and drive. Let's not miss our spot. It's at the very end right here. 15-second pit stop. I love how it counts down on the other HUD. And away we go. So you can see on the other HUD on the left in the score tower, you can see who did his mandatory pit stop and who didn't, and who is currently in the pits. Really, really nice information to have in an endurance race. Definitely recommend downloading the AutoHUD application. Link should be in the description. Oh. I was a bit late on the brake right there. Just managed to get it around. Yeah, if I were to set up this car, I would probably try to dial out a little bit of the understeer. The way I would usually approach that is by stiffening the rear anti-roll bar, softening the front maybe. But it's mainly understeering on corner exit, so maybe something could be done with the differential as well. Have to be careful with the curbs. Wow, he just drove around me on the outside. Definitely can't complain about the AI being too slow at 105%. But yeah, I would say overall the AI is matched quite well to the player, as in braking points, corner speeds and all those things. Big improvement from before the update. Wow, side by side. And we are on P18, so we haven't really gained a whole lot in the pit stop. Bit of a tank slapper. So you can see the sunlight is getting a little bit less. The sun is getting a little bit lower. We got 4 minutes left in this race. It will probably be sunset by then. Oh my god! He hit me. It was only a small hit in the tire wall, so no damage from this. Oh, we haven't even driven the M4 yet, guys. Should we do a GT4 race after this? Quick one? Which track is a good GT4 track? Other than Nordschleife. Group 4 M1, yeah, that is also something we could check out. I would need to change the steering wheel though, because this formula rim, this open rim, doesn't really feel right in an M1. And it's you. You know, we could do a multi-class historic session. Let's do that actually. But which track? Group 4, M1. There's a couple of new liveries in here. I believe this one up here, BMW Italia, that is new. And MK Motorsport is new as well. Also this one down here, BMW Italia, the other one. And the other ones might have been slightly modified skins. You can see here the Niki Lauda livery, that's a new one I believe. With the actual name on it and the actual Marlboro logo. Is that the actual Marlboro logo on there? I think it is. Let's get Niki Lauda's car. Let's do just a quick session with these and then a short GT4 race to round it off. What's a good track that has a lot of grid spots? I think Mid-Ohio has a lot of spots available, doesn't it? It's only 50. It's enough, but yeah. Let's add the NSU just for shits and giggles. If I can find it, yes. And Group C and GTO. So many historic cars, guys. Where's the GTO? There it is. And some Porsche Cup. And now we have 129 selected, so we need to click on auto fit. What? It auto fitted to 31 garage spots? Oh, because I have it here set to 31. It should be 51. There we go. Let's just do one long practice session while I change my rim. Gotta loosen one screw here on the Thrustmaster TS-PC Racer. It's quite a fix, quite a quick fix though, quite a quick change. The screw is all messed up and worn out though. I need to get a better screw. This one won't unscrew itself anymore. Right, so we're gonna do this 8-shift style. Right on. Fanatec. Don't know if I like Fanatec, to be honest. So the static friction, that's another new thing. When you're standing still, now the friction is much more pronounced as it used to be. You can see it's like quite difficult to move the wheels until you start moving. And this actually also takes the servo steering into account that some cars have. You will notice when you first go out, or when you first click drive, the steering is super hard until the engine starts, or you hit the ignition button if you have that mapped. And then that's when the electronics engage and the servo steering engages, and then you will feel a little less friction. So that's quite cool as well. Okay, we need to kill the music for this car. Get a hold of that beautiful sound. And you will hear me misshift in a second. So obviously this car is new in this class and has new physics as well. Big improvement over the old M1 as well. You can really feel the weight transfer now. And it's not sliding around as silly anymore as it used to do. Wow. This feels amazing. I remember doing a M1 championship, offline championship, when I did my RaceRoom career live streams a while ago. That was some hard work, but now this car drives really, really nicely. Bit of oversteer there, but manageable. Oh, look at that grid. We have Group Cs, we have GTOs, Group 4, Classic Carrera, Cup. We could have added in some Touring Classics as well. Might not be historically accurate, but could just pretend we are on like a classic meeting somewhere. Go on, overtake. Now I'm locking him in here. Need to check the yeah, poor 962. Look, the GTO is braver. Now they go. Like Shumi Häkkinen style, left and right. Haven't checked what setting the AI was on. Feel like I'm a bit faster than the AI. But the AI has particular problems with this Porsche 934. As you may have read on the forums, and from what Alex Hutchinson told us, the AI is now using physics very close to the player physics, In the past they had like more thumbed down physics in order for them to be able to manage the cars. Now the physics are actually quite close to the player, but I think at least in the Porsche 94 it shows a little bit that they are struggling. It's not so much problem in other cars, but I mean they manage, but I think they're going a bit slow in those Porsches. Holy shit, so much traffic. But this is a lot of fun. There's an NSU. Evening, Eve Marie. Wow. Hello Alex, how's it going? I was just saying I love how this car drives. But I'm also noticing the AI going a bit slow in the Porsche 94, but I've already told you that. Let's see if we can improve that a bit in the future. But hell yeah, this car is a lot of fun. Mid-Ohio is a great track for classics. Classic IMSA style. Hello. Yeah, I really like how the weight transfer feels in this car. You see how slow the AI in the Porsche is? I need to double check my difficulty settings, but I think it was at 110. Was that even a 934 or was it a 964? I think it was a 934, wasn't it? But yeah, I want to see more classics multiplayer races, endurance races, multi-class with grids like this. Should be a ton of fun, guys. Glad to hear that your direct drive wheels feel amazing. Maybe I should get a DD1 or 2. It wasn't so expensive. I love multi-class racing. Doesn't even have to be a race. I just like driving a nice car in the traffic like this, as we did on the Nordschleife earlier. Love the lighting, how it changed with the accurate sun position. So yeah, if you like historics and maybe the Porsche 934 is a little bit too much of a handful, definitely check out the BMW. It's totally manageable, ton of fun. Really good feel on the weight transfers. Also quite a good feel on the brakes. The way I just locked up now was really intuitive. As in I really could feel that coming. A little lazy on the turn in. Wow. You can make it slide as well if you want to. Okay, we'll do a few more laps and then we'll check out the M4 and then we'll wrap it up for tonight. Oh, sorry mate. I could definitely see myself driving this car in a 2 or 3 hour race. Yeah, I don't know if the sound actually changed or if it's the same sound, because the car always sounded amazing. I feel like it changed at some point. Don't know if it was in this update or during one of the previous updates. Love it, love it. Yeah, I've tried the suspension damage earlier on Ningbo with the GT2 RS. Let's see if we can get a flat spot going again. Locking up now into the U-turn, or whatever you want to call that corner up the hill. Wow, it actually didn't even lock. Think my brakes are well up to temperature by now. It doesn't have ABS this car, but not so easy to lock it at all. I guess it's also due to the brakes not being as powerful as on the GT2, for example. Thanks for the subscriptions, by the way, I appreciate it. Probably a few more streams coming over the next days and weeks as we go into winter vacations. Oops, okay, now I locked right there. Nice. Really manageable slides. It doesn't go completely sideways like a drift car, but when it starts oversteering you can definitely catch that. And obviously you feel it really well with the force feedback in the self-aligning torque. Keep ramming these NSU cars. So let's see about the damage. Yeah, that got me a little bit of suspension damage. Yep, did not expect suspension damage from this little hit. Let's crash big time here. Ouch. Yeah. Would have maybe even suspected a little bit more, but suspension damage is definitely there now. Car looks broken. Doesn't really drive straight anymore. Wow. That external sound though. Okay, okay. I've changed a few things in Nakamusa, but nothing dramatic. I can show you real quick my FFP settings. But it's really personal preference. I think the default is really good, and you should definitely start there. I'm experimenting a little bit with dampers right now, so don't know yet if I like it or not, but feels good actually. So you can pause, rewind, screenshot these settings if you like. These are my current settings. But default profile should be a really good start for the TS-PC Racer. Car is doing some funky things right now with the suspension broken. Doink. Oh, that was a big hit. Luckily my engine is in the rear, so that one's still going. Well, it's in the mid. It's a mid engine, isn't it? It's just behind my driving position. Wow. Looks a bit like a Lancer Stratus now in the front. Oh yeah, Stratus confirmed. So I'm looking forward to see maybe if we will introduce this new damage also in the esports races. See how that changes driving behaviors, driving habits. Ah, missed everybody. Okay, the suspension is really bad now. You can see the steering is offset. The car is really hard to control now. Still out racing the AI in the Porsche though. Okay, let's check out the M4, guys. Which track you reckon we should go on to do a GT4 race? Should we do another American track? Road America? Bathurst? Could do that as well. I hope the AI is doing alright around Bathurst. Alright. Bathurst it is. We even have some specific Bathurst liveries for the M4. But I think I like this one. Is that the right team name though? That's not the right team name. Let's not pick some team Adrenaline Motorsport number 77. Or is it? Maybe it is. It actually says on the livery. I was thinking about the other one. That one. That's the American version of it. Or is that just not the correct render? Yeah, it is the correct render. I'm still finding bugs, sorry guys. Still in beta tester mode. Turner Motorsport, also very iconic livery. Falkenhorst, also. Avia, obviously, since we did the Avia racing competition. Maybe we'll see another Avia racing competition in the future with the M4. Let's pick Avia. Let's clear that filter. And actually we can create a new filter because we obviously want all the M4s, we want all the new 780, and then we want some KTMs as well. And then let's auto fit, but we haven't chosen the track yet. We need to choose the track first, Bathurst. And now we can auto fit. Hang on, why is there a number in here? I don't need a number in here. Now, auto fit 35. There we go. Won't need practice. Let's jump straight into race. 15 minutes rolling start. AI difficulty 105. Yeah, let's give that a go. No, music is not part of the update. Some new tracks in early 2020. I don't know about early, but definitely some new tracks are already being worked on. Some exciting new tracks. Suspension damage, if it works for the AI, that's a good question. I'm actually not sure. Maybe Thomas can answer that. Wait, you didn't get Brands Hatch Grand Prix yet? You need to check, mate. It should be in there. It was an Easter egg in this update. Just kidding. So, race session. We don't really want to bother with any setup. Let's just drive it out of the box. KW on pole, look at that. As if he paid for it. Well, the GT4 has entirely new physics, so I'm assuming the balance of performance was part of that process in creating the new physics, yeah. If you won the lottery, you would buy us all the licenses. That's nice. Do you play lottery? If not, you should start. Okay, we need to adjust the seat position a little bit here in this car. Move forward. In case you didn't know, you can also adjust the pitch in cockpit. But that's already been there for quite some time. Need to fix my hotkeys. I keep disabling the audio for the mic when I'm trying to kill the music. Hello, Jeff. I'm Italian. You just read my gestures. I have to say, AI really surprisingly great. I just noticed they're a little bit slow braking for the after the long straight, after the Conroad straight, apparently is what it's called. Since I have the corner names up in the virtual mirror, it's also a nice feature from Otterhut. The S's. Come on, this corner is called the Dipper. Isn't it? Wow. He just left me enough room there. I'm not using any calculated field of view. I'm just using 0.9. 0.9. It's one click down from default. Maybe with the new UI we can actually introduce vertical degrees instead of some random number. That will probably be nice. Wow, that KTM was quick in the corner. I'm not saying that's happening, homie. I'm just saying that would make sense, wouldn't it? But I think with big UI changes coming, there's a good opportunity to introduce such changes. Yeah, so the M4 is fun to drive, but it's also very, very controllable. Really good entry-level car, I would say. Of course, I haven't driven the other GT4 cars yet since the update. They will probably be equally as good. The Cayman, still being a Porsche, probably is still a bit special, but many have complained, rightfully so, that it's ridiculously difficult when it first came out, and I believe that was resolved with this physics update. Good top speed in this car though. It's like almost GT3 level top speed, if not faster. That was close to 270 at the end of the straight. AI is pitting for the mandatory stop. We'll do that next lap. Oh, definitely Nakamusa. I don't know what you mean by fluid dynamics, but I'm gonna interpret that as things like weight transfer. And yeah, I just drove the M1 previously, and that one felt really good. So does this one, but it's a much more nimble car, obviously. Oh, you mean aerodynamic flow? That is another topic. If I remember correctly, Alex, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we have reduced the dirty air effect if you're following another car closely. The turbulent air effect used to be quite big with all kinds of cars that not necessarily cause a lot of turbulent air. Correct me if I'm wrong. Oh yeah, you just mentioned it. It was revised. Previously overdone. Great to have the developers here in the chat. You can ask all your questions directly. You'll get much more detailed information than you could ever get from me. Wow, okay, that felt really good. How that rear stepped out and came back. That's a late call for pit stop, but let's see. Let's just change one axis tires. I work with the devs. Not really a dev in the term of I'm not a modeler, I'm not a texture artist, I'm not a programmer. I just do marketing stuff and some occasional other things. But all these things you see here on the screen has been developed by the guys at Sector 3. I did make some sky textures once, but not these, the one you see currently here. I do some track cameras sometimes, although in recent times that has been taken over by another dev. Alright Tom, thanks for hanging out, thanks for answering some questions. Talk to you soon. Thanks for the subscription, I appreciate that. Yeah, I used to stream quite often in the past year. Recently I've been taking a little bit time off streaming. Was just not in the right mindset. But let's see, maybe I'll pick it up again. Stream a little bit more often. Of course, leave a like on this video if you enjoyed this stream. And subscribe if you haven't yet. Wow. Oh, that's another thing that has improved immensely is when you collide with the AI, the inertias have been really improved in the sense that if you collide with an AI, the AI will not just be on rails, they will actually, if you hit them, they will spin and move and stuff like that. So it's actually easier now to... Let's see if I can spin an AI around on purpose in a corner. If I go on the inside here... Oh, that was a bit too late. Next corner maybe. See if I can turn this adrenaline motorsport guy around. Yeah, hashtag Schieben raus. Oh, he always changes on the inside. Ah, I missed him again. I wanna just spin him around and continue driving, you know. I don't wanna crash him out. Breakfast style. Maldonado, yeah. Okay, I think we should have a good opportunity now after that kink and the slow left-hander. If we can make it on the inside. Yeah, yeah. There we go. Oh, he held it. Yeah, but you saw how his car moved, right? When I pushed him. That is much better than it used to be now. Not that I encourage you to drive like this and crash the AI. Here we go again. Ah, that was not the best corner to try it. Oh boy, that was a bad impact. Killed the engine. Oh, beautiful Avia M4 is toast. And I think this will actually wrap up this stream, guys. Big thanks for watching tonight. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to check out the big update. Just get it on Steam and read the changelog. Link is in the description. Tons of changes. Give all the new cars a try. Give the new track a try. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching today. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Goodbye.